It doesn't matter how you actually define your dream, be it big or small. It matters how concrete or tangible that vision is.
Smoke above, don't worry, darling. It just means the fire's still burning. Drive away, out into nowhere. Here we go. We're taking off now, living free and fearless, won't ever come down. Yeah, we're free and fearless, we're singing living free and fearless, we're singing
For our company that makes planners do extra alarming, our mission is to help Filipinos live out their dreams, to live life to the fullest. So how is that going to happen if Filipinos don't dream? How can you manifest a life that can truly make you happy if you're not even entirely sure about what you want?
One of the biggest factors is fear in women. I was fearful of so many things. And I realized that my fear was driven by what? Fear of what people would think, fear of what others would see in me, fear of what people will uncover in me, fear of what my mother would say. I was gripped with so much fear. Fear is actually false expectations appearing real.
Actually, yung pinakaunang dream ko when I was a kid was to be an NBA basketball player. And my dream was really to be an NBA player, not WNBA, as in NBA pang lalaki.
During the course of dreaming, you will always be challenged. You will be challenged by yourself. You will be challenged by others. You will be challenged by circumstances. But I think more than ever, I agree with Ma'am Reza and Gretchen that you really have to anchor yourself into you. At the end of the day, in this toxic world we have, all you have is you. So, wag niyo po yan mawawala.
Kung ngayon, yung opportunities that you have are limited, you'll never know if you go inside a door, if it will lead to another door, to another window, to where you're supposed to be.
How did entrepreneurship transform you? Who are you before? And it changed everything now.
The organization made me want to live more. If my kids are fighting every day for their lives, I should
talagang go out of your comfort zone and then realize that, hey, I could do something here. And in fact, all of my frameworks don't mean anything here, but my compassion does.
I think for others, hindi nila pinapansin yun na, ano lang yan, parang normal na company outing kapag nasa malaking corporation ka. Okay yun. Kami parang kinayod namin yan para makapag-reach sila. Yung mga ganon. So, those little victories, I think those are the things that matter when you become an entrepreneur kasi kinakayod mo yan talaga like blood, sweat, and tears.
Whatever it is that you're going through right now, no matter the obstacles that you are trying to leap out of, you can do it. I swear.
Because it's not enough if you send a kid to go to school. You also have to give sustainable profits and employment to their parents. Because literally it takes a village to educate a kid. It takes the entire village to create a collective dream. It takes an entire village to pursue a collective dream.
Nobody knew that every time I was smiling, every time I was there chatting with my clients and giving my 100%. Every day I was dying inside. I was hurt, not only physically, but I was abused mentally and emotionally.
You just have to remember the pain in your passion. Because literally, you cannot spell the word passion without pain. But I like the context in Filipino. Walang pagmamalasakit kung walang masakit.
I encourage everybody, if you really have a dream, find it in your heart. You are very, very powerful. You're the only person who can change your life. And if there's only one thing that you're very passionate about, pursue it. It will never lead you astray. Believe me.
guys, na lahat ng pinagdadaanan natin sa buhay, the good things, the bad things, yung mga mahirap na bagay, they're meant to bring out something inside of you to make you more solid as a person, to make you stronger.
Watercolor tattoo na, as opposed to the traditional style, which is okay, but that's my voice. And so, that's where your value comes in. Because you found your voice, you've honed your craft. And it doesn't happen overnight.
So parang yung feeling ko minsan na ganun yung ginagawa ni God in my life. Na parang hindi ako dyan pupunta, ito yung gusto kong puntahan, pero parang sige dito ka, try mo. And then that's what my journey has always been like.
Try to target, ano ba ang isa-serve ng company ko? You actually pattern it with yourself. So you have to know your motivations in doing that. And in building your brand, your company, it's best pattern it from the founder.
Nakapagbigay ako ng inspiration sa bawat isa dito sa mga nagdi-dream, sa mga hindi pa alam yung dream nila. You better start it now kasi sayang ang oras. Darating yung time na sana ginawa ko na lang ito, yung sana hindi na lang ako nakinig sa kanya, sana pinaniwalaan ko na lang yung sarili ko. So you have to work it and you have to not just dream pero gawin mo rin.
To understand that the dream that is for you, the dream that is in you, that is about to be released, uncovered, it will bless people around you.
When you create a difference in someone's life, you not only impact their life, you impact everyone influenced by them throughout their entire lifetime. No act is ever too small, one by one. This is how to make an ocean rise. Let us raise ourselves, our families, our country. Let's dream together. Thank you.
Now let's go to April Divider. April is about amplifying your humility. What is your belief about humility? Do you consider it a sign of weakness or a mere outward display of meekness? I offer you this perspective. Humility grants limitless power. Being humble means you practice the same level of acceptance for both your strengths and limitations. Being open to learning, extending respect and grace to others, and celebrating others' accomplishments. I hope you welcome the gifts of humility into your life so that you can gain self-confidence that allows you to coexist in harmony with others who are just as valuable as you are, like a humble stream. Let's honor simple actions that teach us how to be humble. List down encounters in which you have experienced or witnessed humility from others, and find opportunities to pay it forward. That's it. We hope this was helpful. Let's all welcome the gifts of humility into your lives.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hello, Bellas. It's the 4th Wednesday of the month, and that means you're watching the BDJ Studio Learning Series with MindNation, a well-being organization that helps you take care of your mental health. And in this series, we cover mental health topics and provide you with insights and tools to cultivate a better mind and better you. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Please do share in our chat in the comment where you're watching us from. And while you're typing in the comments, I'm bringing in my beautiful co-host for the series, the Chief Marketing Officer of MindNation, Kat Trevino.
Hello! Hi again, Dar. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay naman. It's been a stressful 1 month trying to adjust with, di ba, parang we had a lockdown here in Metro Manila. No, tapos parang medyo variations of MECQ, ECQ. I'm losing track a bit.
Right. To some extent, it feels like it was back to normal already when we were in GCU. So people were going to the beach, we're traveling a bit safely with the masks. We even had, parang I saw the Department of Tourism even do a couple of travel ads already.
Oh,
okay, and then when so people started planning their year around GCQ. Right, where were you supposed to go?
Well, Batangas lang naman. It's not naman as far, but I mean, I wanted to see the beach.
Right. Well, I believe it's the same for a lot of people as well, because for me, I was also planning on flying. So for those that had trips or plans, you can share it also in the comment section. Tell us what your plans were pre-ECQ. But when ECQ came in, my goodness, it was like everything just paused, and it was like
again.
It was back to square one. I know. And then a lot of people were asking actually, like, what is ECQ again? What am I not allowed to do again? Nobody knows what
exactly. We kind of forgot already what were these, what are we supposed to do in these kinds of conditions.
Absolutely. And I feel like during that time, parang a lot of the intense feelings of fear and anxiety came rushing back to me during the first few days. And it's all too familiar, but it doesn't make it any easier. How about you, Dora?
Agree. I definitely agree. It took a bit, parang, I really had to take a pause, I guess, like with March, realizing, okay, I guess there has to be that acceptance na. I mean, the reality is, wala eh. It's really umaakit yung cases. We also need to be safe. Yes, it's round 2 of pandemic. It's season 2 of the pandemic. And as much as we wish it wasn't, it is what it is. And give ourselves some time to just accept it, to mourn a bit of the new set of canceled plans, and time again to move forward.
Absolutely. As usual, we will rise above it, and we will always look forward to taking care of our well-being and our mental health during this time. So hi to everyone that's joining us from MindNation and from the BDJ pages. I hope that you guys are all doing okay, and I hope that you guys have to enjoy this episode of Better Mind, Better You. Dar, you mentioned during the...
sorry. Go ahead. No, I was going to share lang to everyone watching us today. Please don't forget to sign up in the bit.ly /BDJ Studio. Sign up because we're giving away a prize for tonight. So we're giving away, and we're doing it for every episode. And the only requirement is just to sign up. It's free. Comment with your key takeaways, and the viewer will receive an essentials notebook and a Dare to be Grateful card set. So
that's so cool. That's so cool. Ayan. So everyone,
you were saying...
No, I was going to say the same thing. Because I remember that we had in the caption that we were going to be giving away prizes every episode na. So please do it not just today. Every time we go live with BDJ and MindNation, there is a giveaway And I'm very excited for everyone to also share their learnings and key takeaways. It's going to be such an exciting and insightful session.
Yes.
So, how's everybody doing? I'm seeing comments of highs and hellos. Hello from Bulacan. Hi, I'm blooming daw ni Miss Kat. I try my best. And everybody saying, okay, watching from Bulacan, watching from QC, watching from Rizal. Kathleen Sikat says, hello po. Hi, Miss Dar. And Jam says he's going to take notes as well. Hello, guys. Good evening. Watching from Taguig. Last Wednesday for the month is for me and my brain time. Aw, that's so sweet.
Sobrang sweet ni Kate. So our topic for tonight is anxiety. So the topic we have is the T on anxiety. And because we would need help for this perspective on with an experienced counselor, we've invited a very good friend, our resource speaker for tonight. Let us introduce our special guest, who is Eric Santillan. He's a very good friend. He's live, guys, from Singapore. So, very special yan.
Good evening, Eric.
Evening, Kat.
Intro, I forgot pala yung yung background, guys, para ma-build up naman natin si Eric properly as a day job, as an organizational development consultant with a special focus on systemology. This means he helps clients understand, design, harness human and organizational systems. He consults for small and medium enterprises, multinational organizations, and even governments in Asia. So in Eric's other life, he is also a counselor and spiritual director with over 20 years of experience. Ayan. Sobrang special, guys, yung guest natin tonight.
Eric also has helped. You've also helped us with a lot of MindNation stuff. So we also have you as a speaker, and also he has lent his wonderful talents. And you are also one of the MindNation counselors as well. So he's really the perfect blend of Dar and I. Because you know that Dar is a very close friend of Eric as well. So it's so perfect. And I love that we're talking about anxiety today. And I wanted to ask also people in the comment section if you've ever felt anxious in the recent days as well. Share with us your stories, your insights, your questions for Eric. Para masagot natin, we have a wonderful expert with us. Karen says, hello po, Sir Eric. Stay safe and healthy, Eric.
Kasi sabi ni Kate, oh my God, my cluttered brain is shaking. So, ayan.
All right. Okay. So, Dar, you want to kick off the questions?
So, to kick off our questions for tonight with siguro since we're talking about the T on anxiety. So, Eric and Kat are experts from MindNation. What's the difference between simply feeling anxious and having an anxiety disorder?
Okay. Kat, you want to take this or ako?
Go ahead, Eric.
Okay. Yeah. So it's that same feeling, diba, of when you say, for example, I'm feeling depressed and having a depressive disorder, so something like that also, no? So when you say you are anxious, it's really the sensation or feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease. Now, the Greeks have a great word for it, dis-ease, no, where we got our word disease, no, which is the feeling you get before your final exam or a big presentation at work or before this interview, for example. No? But then there's a difference when it becomes anxiety disorder, you know, kasi there's such, okay, so I guess the first thing here, this is kind of technical, there is such a thing as healthy anxiety, because anxiety is supposed to motivate you to prepare ahead, no? And when whatever was causing you to worry is done already, for example, the final exam or the presentation is done, and it's over, you feel relieved, you stop worrying, and you don't carry the anxiety with you anymore. Okay, so that's the healthy part of anxiety. It becomes unhealthy when it is causing some dysfunction already. No? When you can't show up to your life because of anxiety, because you're so worried or you're so afraid, no? Then maybe it's time to talk to a counselor or to a professional, no? When that happens. Yeah.
Like MindNation. MindNation has a 24/7 chat, guys.
Sakto.
Yeah.
And
That's
like
right.
to add to that lang also, Eric, anxiety is a reaction to most usually to stress. And it's tama si Eric, the persistent, when it becomes debilitating to your life, when it has a persistent excessive worries that don't go away, even when that whatever is stressing you out is no longer there. That's when it kind of gets worrying, when you're already experiencing anxiety as a mental health concern. Most of the time, the source of anxiety already is internal, versus when you feel stressed or afraid or threatened, like states of or emotions, kunyari, like a barking dog is there right in front, and then you start to experience anxiety when it's no longer there. Just the thought of it just makes you so anxious.
Correct,
And
correct.
that's the same way with, say, for example, COVID. Even if it's not around you, even if it's not something that's in the household or near you, the fear of it is very strong. And maraming classifications of anxiety disorders, generalized anxiety, even your phobias, OCD, and post-traumatic are also classifications of anxiety.
Just to add to that, siguro, no, it's kasi anxiety has a physical manifestation, no. You sweat, you have a very fast heartbeat, you have shortness of breath, no, hyperventilation sometimes, no, and also you can't sleep. That amount of sustained stress kasi can't be sustainable. It's okay to feel that once in a while, but if it's already sustained for a long period of time, then it becomes unhealthy.
Meron tayong comment here from Kate. Sobrang daming nagsi-self-diagnose, tapos people are starting to take this lightly, tapos iba-iba yung interpretation. Tapos lahat sila magagaling
mga Google MD, mga Dr. Google sila. I feel that's the same way with depression. They tend to take it so lightly already that when you say I feel depressed, parang hindi na seryoso. And that's a lot of like the reason of why the stigma is so strong, because these words, these terms are taken so lightly that people can just brush it aside, and they don't realize that the more severe it becomes, you will really need professional help. You will need to seek a doctor or a counselor like Eric. Diba? May brand. May push yan.
Mag-message kayo sa MindNation. Can we request for counselor?
Yeah, that's right, no? Kasi I think something to think about also is when every diagnosis, diba? Parang if you misdiagnose, then the things that you do after is also wrong, diba? Parang ganon. So just be careful about self-diagnosis kasi it's like drinking biogesic for something like something else already, diba? Parang ganon siya. So be careful lang about self. There are professionals who are trained for it, who studied these things. So yeah, might be good to get access to them, no?
Right. But it's good that when you're, for example, you were talking earlier about the symptoms and the signs. Syempre, you don't turn a blind eye if and say na parang, I don't want to self-diagnose, so hindi yan totoo para sa akin. It could also go that way. So once you start realizing that all these are, okay, you're ticking the boxes, you don't say you're anxious. You have a fear of that. Go seek professional help, get a proper diagnosis, and the professional will be able to give you the proper next steps. So
in terms of anxiety lang, sorry, Kat.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. In terms of anxiety lang, I think it's important to look at the effects, no? If it starts to interfere with your day-to-day life, it becomes a dysfunction already, your life becomes dysfunctional, then maybe it's time to seek professional help. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Sorry, meron tayong konting lag, no? Sorry. Go ahead. Ask your question. No, I was gonna say, okay, sorry, go. Ikaw na.
So I was gonna ask lang, kasi you mentioned a bit about the physical manifestations. What are those physical manifestations?
Yeah, okay. So for everyone, no, for the Bellas and for those who are watching from the MindNation page, no, it's important to look at the to see it from there's a mnemonic device that I always use, no, BPS. It's biopsychosocial. No? So bio is the body, and psycho is the emotional part, and the social is the environment that you are in. No, so in terms of biological para manifestations of anxiety, you have to look into, for example, lack of sleep. That's usually a major, actually the easiest to catch, no? Lack of sleep. Also, parang there's also actually parang it's not just the physical but also the emotional manifestation of when a friend, for example, always tries to seek reassurance, or yung avoidance of feared situations or events, no? And second guesses decisions. That's a sign already that the person must be feeling some anxiety, no? In terms of the physical, it's usually sweating, is also there, and what else pa ba? Either stress eating or not eating. Okay, so that's important to
eating related,
catch, siguro, no? So eating right is very important, no?
Funny when you say those symptoms. Sometimes you feel like, oh no, I'm sweating. Oh no, I'm not eating.
That's the anxiety, di ba?
Oh no, do I have anxiety? But like, those are very helpful signs and symptoms. And Jemima had a comment here in allergies. Nagpa-flare up siya pag stressed daw siya. So there are those kinds of physical manifestations.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're also stressed, diba, you can have alopecia, those things.
Correct.
The hair, diba, falling hair.
The hair loss, yes.
Hair loss.
Yeah, actually, last week we just had one of our guests see. At the tip of my tongue, I was gonna say the name and then see our favorite singer. She sang beautiful. Sobrang nice. If you want to, she talked about
Abby.
Si Abby Asistio, yes. Abby Asistio, she sang beautiful. She's suffering from alopecia and she founded it and she just wanted to share it talaga kasi parang growing up, she didn't know na meron palang ganitong condition. And I think it reflects talaga with a lot of things when we were growing up, we didn't know. Parang we didn't talk about depression, we didn't talk about anxiety. So all these signs and symptoms that you mentioned na means the stress eating or stress not eating, the not sleeping as a symptom. Also, what are the others? The sweating and then the allergies. What are the other symptoms? Basta, I guess if it manifests on the physical level na, no, there's like that parang it's a real indicator that guys, please contact MindNation in the chat 24/7 chat box.
Absolutely. And it's proof talaga that there's no health without mental health, and your brain is and your mind is so powerful that it does manifest in physical aspects, whether that's in your depression, your anxieties. All of these things can show up. There have been some studies also that, for example, the fears and the anxieties, people get sick because they're more prone. They're more, how would you say it? I wouldn't say immune. They're less strong in terms of their
immune. Actually, yeah, you're right. The immune system gets affected if your psychological health, your mental health is also not okay. Your immune system gets affected.
So just remember those three, no? Biopsychosocial. It's the body, it's the mind, it's also your environment that makes you healthy or not healthy. So,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Biopsychosocial. Okay. Noted. Thank you. Yeah, so we have this question. How does anxiety look like this 2021? Baka, how about you guys? Have you
Okay.
noticed anything different?
Yeah, okay. Ganito, this is very interesting. No? So first siguro, in terms of clients that come to me, no, there is, so one is travel anxiety, no, the fear that when we travel, we're going to get the virus or we're going to get sick, no, and also it's not just the long travel. It's like going to Batangas, going to Tagaytay. Actually, we have that fear, no. Also, just some people actually talk about the anxiety of just getting out of the house, no, which is very parang that's the mark of 2020 and 2021, di ba? Parang ganun siya. Also, several recent studies, actually there's a study that came out last Feb and March that talk about pandemic anxiety and its difference between the anxiety that we experience now versus then, no? The study is premised on the idea that as humans, our brains have actually become very overburdened by the pandemic and the need for survival, which were actually, parang dati kasi, these are things that are automatic, diba? Parang we don't think about going out of the house. We don't think about walking in your neighborhood as much as we think of it now, diba? Parang right now, for example, going to the gym, visiting family, driving a car, going to the hospital to have a doctor's checkup. Parang it's such a big deal now, diba? Parang you have to prepare, you have to do risk management, diba? And these are supposed to be automatic things that we did before. Now it needs higher order thinking, which is a luxury, diba? Kasi parang it's psychological space that you actually use for these things that you did not do before, no? But that you did not use it for it before, no? So ganon yung nangyayari. All of a sudden, we need higher order thinking for stuff that are normal before. Also, the other thing is, so what it does is that it takes up our time, our space, and our energy, and we have less bandwidth for other things, no? And I'm talking about the general population, Dar and Kat, no? Kasi there are also exceptions to the rule, diba? Because there are also a lot of highlight films on Facebook and Instagram right now, diba? A lot of people also thrive naman in this pandemic, no? Also, what I noticed, and this is very interesting, kasi before, for example, a client would come to me before pandemic and would say, Eric, I'm so afraid I'll get sick and I'll die in the hospital alone. No? If you said that to me a few years ago, I would probably put in my notes, okay, this person has a tendency to catastrophize. Diba? Parang ganon. But when a person tells me that now, diba, it's an acceptable statement given our situation. And so as a whole, our idea of what's normal has also stretched a bit, no, because of our situation. Also, no, so some months back, parang during Christmas, nakita ko to sa Facebook, di ba? Parang very well-meaning post, di ba? Parang, and it basically said, if you eat with your family during Christmas, that's the last Christmas you'll be spending with them. Di ba? Parang ganun yung parang a lot of fear posts came out during November and December last year, no? Which is another sign of pandemic anxiety, no? Personally, I don't know how this could have been done better, pero it's a very anxious statement, diba? And this was all over Facebook and social media. Also, the thing that I see is, and this is difficult on the part of the counselor, no? Kasi parang before there's such a thing as agoraphobia. Si Kat mentioned that, no? The phobias that we fear. The phobias that we experience. No? And then all of a sudden, we have people coming to us and talking about the fear of public spaces, no? Public places because of COVID. So is that agoraphobia or is that like just pandemic anxiety? No? So mga ganun, no? Also, di ba, yung obsessive compulsive washing of hands, di ba? Parang ganun. So it's a little, I'm just saying, it's a little more difficult for counselors right now to know the difference. Kasi you have to see which one is pandemic anxiety and which one is a real disorder. So there.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a long answer to the question.
No. It's super insightful, and it's nice to hear from the counselor's point of view as well. Parang we've also seen comments from Sab saying that because of being stuck at home for a year, the anxiety also fluctuates. These are things you wouldn't normally hear in pre-COVID time. Parang, okay, maybe you're just not a homebody, etc. And
correct.
Diba? And it's because all these normal things these things that we used to be normal, used to be part of our lives, were suddenly taken away, or that it adds to the anxiety because of the uncertainty we have, right? And even at work, like MindNation does these things called pulse surveys, and we do it for all partners, and even those that want to explore with us. We try and ask their employees how they're doing, how they're coping during the pandemic, and we've noted and the employees report significant drop talaga in their overall well-being. The number was from 7 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10. And even if you think about it, 7 out of 10 pre-pandemic isn't a good number already.
Yeah.
So it really shows that parang whatever they have already, mas na-heighten pa now. It's now dropped down to 6. And there's so many other factors that contribute now to the feeling of anxiety. We've surveyed over 6,000 employees, and 46% have noted experiencing anxiety on a regular basis. And that's a normal thing for them now. And it can come from so many things. And maybe you guys don't know that even if maraming syempre nagsascramble because there's less job opportunities, or there's fear of job security, there's actually over 20% in the organizations that also regularly think about quitting their jobs because of the anxiety. And it's such a sad thing to be thinking about how the anxiety grew from before, and we're only seeing these effects because in the first place we have not developed that resilience to be able to cope with uncertainties and changes.
Yes.
Yep.
Someone's asking here, Katrina said, is saying sorry a lot a sign of anxiety, Eric?
Okay. Saying sorry a lot. There's actually so it's funny because there's actually a cultural layer to it. Culturally, if you know, I guess you notice, no? Parang culturally, Filipinos in general like to say sorry. Parang we. So I'm not sure if it's a sign of anxiety or a cultural layer that we grew up with. Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
It
depends kasi siguro in the context. No? Yeah, being apologetic, overly apologetic. No, it's probably it becomes anxiety when I guess I have to understand the context, no, of why you say sorry.
Why you're saying sorry?
Yeah.
There's also a question here that was prepared for us, and I guess this is a bit important since we're trying to sort of differentiate the COVID anxiety and like the phobia na talaga, right? Is it also important to differentiate a panic attack and an anxiety attack versus an anxiety attack? And do we treat either or differently?
Okay. Okay, so sige. I'd like to preface that with some technical stuff, no? Okay. So so panic attack, okay? It's usually the reason people come to the clinic for help, no? To ask for help because they experience a panic attack, no? Okay, so the panic attack is actually part of what we call DSM-5, no? Or it's the latest version of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Okay, so that's panic attacks are part of that, no? It's very physical. Usually, there's a very physical manifestation of a panic attack. there's a most of my clients would say, for example, I felt like I was going to die and I did not know why.
Okay.
Tapos there are two ways siguro to look at panic attacks. One is that there are unexpected panic attacks. No, they just occur without any obvious reason. It just happens. No, parang an expected panic attack naman, on the other hand, are cued by phobias, for example, or external stressors. You are placed in an environment that reminds you of a past trauma, for example. So that's a panic attack. Now, anxiety attacks is actually not yet part of the DSM-5. Now, why is that? Kasi when a person says, I had an anxiety attack, sometimes it's different from what another person experiences, no? Because there's a whole range of anxiety attacks, no? And it usually happens, so mas chronic siya than acute, like the panic attack, no? And sometimes it's not physical in nature, no? Hindi siya, walang physical manifestation, it's just very, very psychological na attack, no? So there, I'm not sure if after this pandemic they will include anxiety attacks na in the DSM-5 next year, but so far that's the main difference. Panic attacks are more physical. Anxiety builds over time. Anxiety attacks builds over time. It's at the back of your mind as you go about your day-to-day activities. No? So in a way, panic attacks are more severe than anxiety attacks. No? Yeah, there. I don't know if that clarifies it a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps. So I think in a way, I guess there's also, do you want to address like some of the questions here, Kat?
Yeah.
There's a question here. What if your boss is giving you so much anxiety, but you can't quit because you need the work? I think it's in relation to some of the things that we talked about earlier. Some people are so anxious right now because they don't have work. Like, I think last year, the statistic is that 8 million Filipinos lost their jobs. And then as what Kat shared, that based on the surveys of the people who have jobs, 20% want to quit. And I know in the past 3 months, there's also a lot of resignations, and I hear it with my fellow entrepreneur friends kasi parang people in the company, there's so much resignations because people just want parang ayoko na. As in, diba, yung ganong feeling lang. So,
I think personally, I see it in positive and negative ways, but I feel mostly negative. There are people, like what Eric said, that are thriving during this time. They're starting to realize that there are things that are not important. There are things that were toxic that they're starting to let go of. People are now taking this time, especially the time of lull, where we weren't so sure about what was happening. Na parang, okay, I need to do something about this. I need to do something about what I'm feeling. So they quit jobs that is not building them or giving them purpose. They quit jobs that they feel like, okay, I found something else to do. I want to sell bread or sell ube pandesal for the rest of my life, and I'm going to quit this because this is great. And like for me, same also. I quit my day job as well to fulfill MindNation full time during the pandemic. So there are those people that are feeling more aligned during this time. But there are also those that because of organizational changes, and maybe you can also share that as well. Like I say earlier before the show, Eric was talking to us about it. Because of organizational changes, the leaders either tend to do one or two things. They think about if they rationalize. They think if the departments are still valid, or if their campaigns, their programs, things that they used to be doing are still relevant. And when this happens, kung hindi ka pinaalis, or if you're not fired or retrenched, it's either the majority of the workload is of people that left is put on you, or the organization kind of stresses that because, okay, we're at a loss, you need to do more work. you need to keep pushing, and the fear and the stress and anxiety that you get from the high targets or their expectations, the unrealistic KPIs are really pushing people to the edge. Dagdag mo na yung like the weird boundaries between home responsibilities and the work responsibilities. Everything seems to be happening all at the same time. So I feel like it's hard when you're in that position that you feel like you want to quit, and your boss, you already see a trigger point, which you see that it's your boss. But there's so many questions to ask there. Like, what about your boss is giving you anxiety? Is there something that you can talk to them about? Can you start that conversation with your boss and be truthful and say that this is not doing well for my mental health? And that conversation needs to be normalized. Eric?
Yeah. Okay, two things, no? One is that, so this part of the social realm, diba, that we're talking, BPS, no? So the boss is part of the social, the environment, no? So if that's causing you stress, then you know that could either lead to anxiety disorder or depression or whatever, no? So that's the first one. Second, so aside from doing things on the BNP level, the bio and psycho level, that can help you with the social level, right? Baka kasi when you do things when you take care of your mental health and you take care of your biological health also, then the relationship with the boss also gets better. So sometimes that happens, no? Other times naman, at the same time, parang because I've been doing organizational development projects, no, with a lot of people, I also know that bosses are very stressed right now. No, so parang, without justifying their giving you anxiety, no? The bosses are also very stressed. So parang meron ding, I think Kat is right, no? There needs to be some kind of conversation between the two of you, kasi all of us, for all you know, you're actually in the same boat. No, you're not fighting against each other. You're actually in the same boat. And then there's actually a counseling technique called joining, di ba? Instead of adversarial, you join the person and you see it from his or her perspective.
Exactly.
Anyways, so that's.
Again, that's a really, really good insight. Let's answer some more of these questions. We're seeing also questions on depression naman, and toxic positivity. But I think I want to ask about toxic positivity first, because this is very relevant to, of course, the feeling of anxiety. Sometimes we get that feeling of anxiety because we feel that, okay, whatever your truth is, whatever you're experiencing is not the same as what's supposed to happen. Parang during the start of the pandemic, people were saying, oh, wala kang excuse para hindi mag-work out. And there's always this push to be productive and this push to think positively. But this is not what your truth is. And maybe you can give us, Eric, a definition of what toxic positivity means and how we can deal with that.
Okay. Sige. I'm not very sure now of the technical term, no? Kasi but there's this sense, 'di ba, na parang people are actually not sharing their true selves, no? So that's one aspect of it. They're not sharing what they're really feeling, and what they do is they focus on just the positive things in life, no? Which can sometimes work naman kasi, di ba, parang gratitude, gratefulness, that also helps. But then it becomes toxic when you force it on other people. When that's what Kat said, di ba? When your truth parang, no, we should go this way because, and what happens is it belittles the emotion of other people. It belittles the experience of other people. now it becomes toxic positivity. And there are actually studies, that says that actually toxic positivity does more harm than good. There's a very interesting study, I just remembered now, of people who had breast cancer. So there were like 400 breast cancer women who went through breast cancer, and they found out that those with toxic positivity, those who cannot talk about their real emotions, had a 60% more chance to die of cancer than the ones who were able to really discuss and talk about it in counseling. So yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Actually, what I heard also about something similar in the study is really actually forgiveness, diba? Kasi there's a bit of peace when there's forgiveness to yourself, on yourself, and then I guess to the people around you. So, Eric, do we have this question? Since parang yun nga, there's a lot of conversations and questions here about anxiety. I think the biggest question that a lot of people are waiting to be answered is that, now, how do we cope with anxiety? Are there ways, exercises, techniques that we can do to be able to cope better with anxiety?
Sige. Okay, so ang kulit ko, BPS pa rin. Gababalik pa rin ako sa BPS. So on the body side, I guess on the body side, it's just so there are several things. Now, one is when you are going through a very, very hindi naman severe, but moderate to severe anxiety attack, when you're feeling very, very worried, one thing that you can do is actually what we call engaging the senses. There's a technique called 5-4-3-2-1 technique. So it's supposed to be able to ground you to the present. Kasi anxiety is a future state, diba? While victimhood, for example, is a past state. What you want to do is to ground you in the present. So it's 5-4-3-2-1. 5 things you see around you. So acknowledge 5 things you see around you. Just name them. And then the next thing is 4 things you can touch around you. So from the sense of sight to the sense of touch, and then 3 things you can hear. So you close your eyes and then you think you just listen to your environment about the 3 things, external sounds that you hear. Then 2 things you can smell. Okay. Maybe if you are in your office and there's a pencil, for example, you can smell this pencil or this pillow, whatever. Or soap in the bathroom or whatever. And then 1 is taste. So what does the inside? So I actually tell my clients, what does the inside of your mouth taste like right now? Parang ganon, So
coffee.
So it really forces you to be in the be at present, So that helps, The other thing that you can do is a little connected to that, and this is the shortcut part, because those are the 5 senses. I call it the 3-3-3 rule, naman, It's just 3 things you see, 3 sounds you hear, and then you start moving 3 parts of your body. So ganon. So it just forces you to be in the present lang. So that's a good exercise to have, Also, can I add lang? There are actually so the title, diba, is T for anxiety. Okay. So actually, it's real, diba? Parang there are actually studies right now who shows that chamomile, for example, help with GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, And it's a very, very interesting. This is a 2017 study in Germany. What happened was they did 40 people drink chamomile tea. And then 40 people drink tea that is not actually chamomile, but tastes like chamomile and smells like chamomile. Okay, so they just want to see the biological part, the chemical part of chamomile. Diba? So, we will not take it. Sige, well, baka may psychological effect of chamomile, the heat or whatever, the feeling of
or placebo.
Placebo siya, pero placebo talaga siya. what they realized after. So GAD to lahat, no? So 80 people with GAD. What's very interesting is that the 40 people who drank placebo tea actually went back to their parang had GAD symptoms after 6 weeks lang of so they stopped their medication and then they just drank the tea. After 6 weeks, the symptoms went back, and the symptoms were actually more severe. No? The ones who drank tea actually reached 11 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's the chemical part in the brain, and it's a neuroscience study, di ba? Parang so it's not just the heat or the, hey, this smells really good. This reminds me of the past, or remember. So it's not just emotional. The effect is not just emotional; it's physical. So there. So that's so drink chamomile tea.
The grounding exercise is so nice because that's something you can do anywhere, anytime, and it doesn't take so long. Because a lot of people fear na when you say, "Oh, I'm having anxiety," oh, meditate or be mindful. Yes. It kind of gets so overwhelming. Like, I don't know how to do that. So it's so easy to do the 3-3-3 or the 5-4-3-2-1, because all of these things are good to keep you grounded. And you're right. Anxiety is really caused by that fear of the future, things that are not there, not happening, and it doesn't. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be thinking about the future. To some extent, like that's what the brain does. It's really built to protect you. So these things in the future are possibly like, okay, the brain planning, what's about to happen, and so that you're ready for it. So it's it's not naman so to completely dismiss it. But if it gets bad, the tips that Eric shared and the chamomile tea that you'll be having tonight, super helpful. I have a question, Eric. So the tea and the chemicals, like chamomile, lavender, also I've also been seeing studies that works with tea. Do the essential oils and the candles also work?
Yeah. So there are certain smells also they've found out. Lemon balm, for example, and peppermint. They found some studies. There are actually studies now that checked on those. No, so these are things. So it's good to just know that these are things that we kind of know, like organically, diba, na this will help, diba? Like,
yeah.
When I was young, for example, efficacent oil, diba? Parang ganun, this will make you feel better, diba? Parang, it's just that the science is catching up
slightly.
Diba? On the insights of indigenous people, diba? So the science is just catching up right now. Western medicine is actually just catching up right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, Kat, yung sinasabi ko pala sa clients ko before is stay in your time zone, no? Kasi nga, stay in your time zone. When you're very anxious, you're thinking about the future. When you're feeling very depressed, you're thinking about the past. So I just tell them, stay in your time zone. Stay in your time zone.
Actually, ang ganda nun. Stay in your time zone. Yeah.
Nagta-time travel ka na naman eh.
Diba?
Oo, yeah.
Traveling, you're thinking about the past, something that happened when you were 5-year-old, diba? 5 years old, diba?
Oo.
Jacqueline said, Vicks down.
Yeah.
Things that remind me of my mom. It's got Vicks on everything. On my eye, on my
What do you get?
Absolutely. And it's so nice. And I think, of course, if it really gets unbearable, you can always seek the help of psychologists and experts like Eric. Also, MindNation, we have 24/7 chats available for free as well. You can just reach out to us if you're feeling these signs and symptoms, and we'll be able to help you also. Someone made a comment kanina that the problem lang with seeking help is that it's expensive. The thing with that is that, yes, there are expensive ones, but, and for example, I'm sorry to sound hard sell, but MindNation really tries to make it as affordable as possible for everyone. And also, it's just the same way as you would go to a doctor for your physical symptoms. When you break a bone, why is it that nobody asks na, bakit I don't want to do this, ang mahal? It should be the same way with your mental health. You should be able to treat your mental health the same way as you do with your physical health. And I promise you, that cost is worth your peace of mind, your health, to lessen that anxiety and to help you become more resilient and a better person in the future.
Yes. I think yun nga most of the time, I guess we have this perception or this mental model talaga that parang mental health is, since it's something we cannot see, it's not as tangible, parang maybe it's not something that we should actively maintain, diba? So even the resiliency exercises, these reminders, these are things that are like muscle, diba? Na parang physical, diba? Muscle mo din, kailangan. Otherwise, hindi nagagana yung arms mo or yung back mo, diba? If you don't keep on practicing. So all these things, the mental, the emotional, psychological, these are muscles that we also need to take care over time. Yes. Yeah. So meron tayong outro question. So this is our question to all our guests for this month of April. So for you, Kat and Eric, what is the one thing you want to amplify this 2021?
Eric, go ahead. You're a guest.
Ikaw muna, Kat, parang I have to think about it possible. Yeah.
It's such a beauty queen question. I want to amplify the smell of my chamomile candle.
Bili na ako ng chamomile tea tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to amplify that. But I guess on a more serious note, I really want to be able to strengthen my resilience and my ability to cope. Even though I'm here in the mental health industry in MindNation, doesn't mean that I'm completely like immune to the stresses, and we're all human. So it's just the same way. Even if you're a leader, you're a boss, it doesn't mean that you're bulletproof. And I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to not feel these emotions, but I want to know how I can grow and learn from them. That's the best thing that we can get out of the challenges, the losses, the things that we're experiencing this year. So when we're able to cope better, when I'm able to cope better, then I feel like in the next few years, nothing's gonna stop me. So I want to be able to do that. Okay ba yan?
Okay na. And the winner is go Eric.
Ako, I wanna actually parang I've started doing this already. I wanna amplify my me times. Times with self. Kasi I'm also part, diba? I'm my wife and my family are with me. But also parang I realized that there's a need to also be alone sometimes. And I've started to do it by very nerdy stuff to Dar, and Kat. Kasi what I did was I just went through the Pareto principle,
Yes.
Pareto principle,
80-20.
20% of life that makes you, that gets into the rest. So I actually did like 20%. I just do 20% of my time every one day a week. I just go out and do my me time and have coffee and chamomile tea sometimes. Yeah. So I just want to continue that for 2020.
Amplify the me time, yeah. Nice.
How about you, Dar? How about you?
Sa akin naman, I think more recently I realized that I want to amplify asking for help. I think one of the things that we sometimes forget, kasi parang we get so parang overwhelmed and parang get lost in our heads, right? That we feel like we're alone, right? That's really a strong sentiment. That's why we feel helpless. I feel parang mag-isa tayo, ganyan. But so that's why I feel like trying to get out, connecting with other people, doing something like this, and feeling that parang, hey, I'm not alone. And it's okay that I can ask for help. And people are here, whether virtual or like in other ways, to support us. So, yun, I guess that's for me.
And you're doing that with these live streams and everything. You're showing so many people that it's okay to ask for help. And then sa comments,
Yes.
you're seeing so many people that are sharing their stories on mental
Correct.
health, their anxieties. So grabe, you have created such a wonderful platform, and I can only imagine what will happen when it's amplified further pa.
Yes. Thank you. So before we go, we want to share with you our MindNation video. I hope you guys can stay for very quickly. Okay. Nice. Ang ganda ng video. Very soothing and relaxing.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. It's actually the premiere of that
The
video.
premiere.
That's the first time we're showing it, and I hope that you guys get to share this stream and this video also with all your friends, your bosses, your workmates, because MindNation and BDJ, we're here to help you.
Yes, definitely. So it's great to be able to spend this Wednesday night with you, Eric, Kat, and I hope everyone, we took away a lot. I took away a lot of lessons for tonight, and I'm so happy that we're able to do this. So, guys, please stay tuned again every Wednesday night. And the last Wednesday of the night, we're doing our mental health check-in again with MindNation for a better mind, better you. Good night,
Thank you, Dar.
everyone.
Thanks, Eric. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.